So, Pontus, normally when we do our podcast, we have different criteria, but today let's go for a big name super fan because some of Angelina's fans are very, very high profile and very well known through their comments. And it is almost a revelation for them to come and speak with us and express themselves eloquently.
Yes, I agree. Let's do that. Let's bring in someone famous from the comment section.
How about Robert DeMartin?
Oh yeah, I know him. I really love his comments. He's very well spoken. So let's try him.
Good idea.
I don't know if you and Alan have spoken about what we are going to talk about today.
I think, Pontus, I could start with something about you. Prior to the podcast today, I looking at the YouTube as I do every day, and I looked at your first video, and that was Million Miles of Angelina, and it was the illustrated one. You introduced it, this is your first video, etc. But what I found so interesting, Pontus and Alan, is I had seen this 100 times before, but as I watched it, and I knew you were watching it for the first time, we don't see Angelina live. What we do is hear her sing and Grandma's beautiful artwork and the lyrics written down. So what we see is the lyrics and listen to Angelina's tone of her voice. It is so moving that she wrote the song, and a lot of people knowing that she wrote the song, if people had a similar experience, that she hoped that they would get comfort from her words. But some people didn't. But regardless, if you knew what it was all about, you already were thinking about a dear one who you had lost in your life. And so Angelina, just from the tone of her voice and the lyrics, the story, she made you wonder and think about things like that. And that's absolutely incredible to me. That goes beyond genius. Well, let me make an example. Let's take Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein, we can picture him sitting at a desk with about 2 feet of paper piled on each side of him. And he has the 2 pencils in his ears with the air glasses on top of his head. And somebody comes in and go, Albert, did you have lunch yet? What do you mean did I have lunch yet? What do I know if I had lunch yet? That's his reaction. Why? His genius is that he is entirely focused on one thing. And I believe with Angelina, when we talk about music, and she goes into that space where she takes us along with her, we don't know where we're going, but we could feel that we're in her space. It's where she's totally focused on. That's a sign of genius, where you could be so focused on something that all of your energy goes into that. Whereas if you're distracted, then you lose contact. What's so amazing about Angelina, since she's gotten older, how she has the ability, she's going into that space, but she is able to come out of that space and re-enter it, and go out of it and re-enter it during the song. To me, that's unheard of. I don't even think a genius can do that, because like the example with Albert Einstein, he knows nothing about if he ate the day before or if he had lunch or anything, because he's focused. Where Angelina comes out with that little smile that tells you, I know you're enjoying it. So her genius is very unique and unmistakable.
It's the type of thing a Buddhist monk might do. If a Buddhist monk has been meditating 6 hours a day, then for him, meditating or non-meditating almost become interchangeable, because he does it so much of the time that it's almost part of his normal life, and he can go in and out of the different states very easily.
It could be with her too, because even in her rehearsals, she must go into that space. So it isn't just that she's motivated by a live audience. She could be in a room just rehearsing or singing to herself, and she goes into that space. So I agree with you. She's always in that space whenever she wants to be.
Mm-hmm. And it also looks like she's very good at multitasking. Many reactors say and comment that she's, in some videos, reading the lyrics from a screen on the side and singing so beautifully at the same time, and that's very hard to do. And we've also seen samples of her with her baby sister, where She's messing about with her big sister when she's trying to sing, and she's coping. She's just going through the song regardless of what kind of interruptions she's having around her. And I think that's a very interesting side of it, too.
Oh, something else even precedes that. She got the lyrics, and she or changed them or found the love in the lyrics, and everything about her is love. There's two things about Angelina. One is genius, and the other thing is she is all about love. And that's what we really feel. We don't feel the genius. We appreciate the genius, but we feel the love. But she's just remarkable in that somebody will say, Angelina, here's a nice cover. Why don't you sing this? So we'll take Bohemian Rhapsody or Suspicious Minds as an example. She'll look at the lyrics, never listening to the melody, and look for the love in the message of the song. When she finds it, she will then listen to the lyrics. And after she alters the lyrics, and in both Bohemian Rhapsody and Suspicious Minds, she did the same thing. She got lyrics from the middle or toward the end of the song and inserted them at the beginning of. That's all her doing. And she didn't do that by listening to Elvis Presley with Suspicious Mind jumping around with his guitar there. She just read the lyrics and found the love of the message in the song. Then she changes the tempo. So when we see her sometimes where she's looking off to the side, you can tell she's reading the lyrics while she's singing. There's no way that's the first time she's looking at the lyrics. She's already figured out what she's going to do with those lyrics. Looking at them is just a reminder that she doesn't forget a phrase or a word.
Robert, I really like when you say that she's all about love, because I think that just says it all in one sentence. I remember when Pontus bumped into Sarah, Angelina Jordan's mom, and said, oh, can Angelina come on our podcast and have a chat with us? And Sarah said, oh, actually, our Angelina Jordan is a bit sensitive. And I think it's her love and her sensitivity and her kindness are so fundamental to her personality and to who she is that what we tend to underestimate, she could not be the artist that she is without that sensitivity and without that love and without that kindness that she has. All of that is recycled into her performance, and we get the full, I think I have to use the word, clarity of all of that, which is why she's such a phenomenal artist, because she almost has a type of clarity, almost like a saint. She has a clarity of someone who is spiritually evolved, and her genius is being able to capture that in her art. And, so it's not like her musical genius is here and her personality is here. They're like that. And they are totally integrated with each other. And that is something that we always have to keep in mind.
I use the word purity, the purity of what she does. It's funny that people fall in love with her. Literally fall in love with her. The amazing thing is, because people are different, some people will keep that to themselves. They don't want to share it. Other people like me, anyone I know knows that I love Angelina. And I promote her or introduce her to people every day of my life. The grocery store, the gas station, the restaurant, CVS, the UPS driver, the FedEx driver. One time a person came over to my home and they were taking the census. Oh, she was very pleasant. I says, man, before I let you go, I know you're busy, but I'd like you to come into my living room here. I want you to listen to something. So nobody escapes, But what happens, I came up with 4 questions I want to share with you guys. I asked people, how much do you think, do you care for Angelina? In other words, do you just appreciate her singing? Or do you think there's something more to it? Do you feel an attachment with her through love? So here are the 4 questions. And we don't have to answer them. I'll just send them right out. But do you get emotional when she sings for you? I always like to use the term for you, not to you, because I think she sings for us. That's why she never appears nervous, or when she hears applause, it's not for her gratification. It's because she knows you enjoyed what she just did. Everything is for us, not to us. Number 2, does the beauty of her character literally make you feel that you must act in a manner that she would be proud of you. In other words, when we walk around in our everyday life, I think of Angelina when I'm ready to yell at somebody that just cut me off. I hold it back. I know it's crazy. Number 3, do you pray for her well-being? Because we know that she's going to have a marvelous career in life, and we hope that everything turns out right. And the 4th question is, will she always be in your heart? Well, I think if you answer yes to all 4 of those questions, it's a closed case. You love Angelina, right?
Robert, you've already completely justified why we want you on this podcast. Those questions are great, and they're deep, and they will stir every single angel to the bottom of their heart. Those are absolutely great questions. May I add one more question to that list? How much are you capable of feeling? And Angelina Jordan, in the equation, has the potential of increasing how much you can feel.
I think the way you can address that is on an individual basis. And there's a key word involved with Angelina. The word is lonely. You can have 5 girlfriends or a wife and wonderful children, but even that person has moments where they'll feel lonely. And then there's other people that have a tremendous degree of loneliness. When you hear Angelina sing and you watch that half smile, and when you watch her eyes and the way she's performing, she touches your heart and can make you cry. And a lot of it is the loneliness within you. And people who are very lonely, and I get very lonely, I'm in the trucking business, and I can't tell you how many times it would get dark in the winter, I would get lonely. To be on the road by myself, that's how you can get those lonely feelings. But to hear Angelina, and to hear the love in her voice, and the hope that she gives you, and the inspiration she gives you to be the best you can, all of those things, they devour the loneliness. Yeah. And all of a sudden, that brings that person to life. And that person, after that song, feels wonderful.
She has the quality where she reaches out and she makes you feel that she is your personal friend, whether it's giving a little wave on the stage or just how she communicates. This is one of the types of things that we try and do with our podcast. We try and connect with individual people, and we try and personalize it. We try and make the podcast and the contact with our guests, as well as all the angels, very personalized. We want people not to feel alone. This is who we are and how we are. This is how things should be, to reach out to another human being.
I agree. What I do a lot of times when I write my comments to some of the music, a lot of times I don't use I use we. Because I feel that something that I can contribute is that when I write a comment, I'm incorporating, I think, a lot of viewers that maybe don't articulate it, or write it, or they could be shy or bashful. But I know if I write it, and by using we, I'm suggesting, do you feel like I do? Because if you do, that's very normal, and it's wonderful.
That's one of the definitions of really good art, where emotions can be universalized. If I have an emotion and everyone can relate to that emotion and I can communicate that, then you can reach a lot of people. That's a really good criteria for art.
Robert, I'm so impressed of your questions and this whole notion of the loneliness that sort of is within us. Where do you get all these ideas from? Have you been a philosopher in a previous life or something?
Well, let's put it this way. All through my schooling, and I'll go back to maybe the 2nd grade, all the way through high school and in college, this is what I was able to do. I was pretty good. I was a smart student, but I never paid attention much, but I was smart. But what would happen is when the class was over and somebody asked me, what did you learn? I'll go, I really don't know, but I know our teacher is married, has 2 children. He seems like a good guy, and he told me he plays soccer. In other words, I wind up with a complete biographic that I could write on my teacher. So to me, the subject matter wasn't important. What was more important to me was learning about the teacher. And gee, how did they become a teacher? Are they too young? Are they too old? But she seems like she knows what she's doing. She doesn't read from the book. Did she memorize the book? And so I think, to answer your question, when I look at Angelina on the screen, that's immediately where I'm going. And I'm trying to interpret all the things that I see that are going on with her. I look at her smile, her eyes, her actions. She's humble. She's a very nice person. I don't know about shy. I think she's just a little reluctant to really go full blast in English, colloquialism and all the terminology she's picking up. She's a little hesitant. I think of somebody once in a while when I watch tennis, and they have Martina Navratilova, who is now retired, and she's a guest quite a bit as one of the commentators on Wimbledon, or right now they're down in Melbourne. And listening to Martina, you would swear she was born in Hackensack, New Jersey, or Chicago. You can't believe that she's Czechoslovakian. And eventually, I think Angelina will be like that and be much, much more comfortable with the English language.
Yeah, but when I was 17 years old, I didn't know the rules of social engagement, because when you're growing into the world, it's so complex. There are so many spoken rules and unspoken rules, and you have to really pay attention to learn them all. Being 17 years old is quite a trial.
It's almost a little challenging for her. Seventh Heaven, I love that song, and this will go back to what do you interpret, where do you come from? When I heard that song, I don't know about how many people have an opinion of what she was singing about, but I came to a conclusion after hearing it one time. This is what she's envisioning her life to be. And she was projecting her thoughts to imagine all the excitement, the paparazzi, this and that. And she saw all of this. So I think when that moment comes, and her family and her uncle and everybody else involved with her, she's going to be prepared for that. So unlike getting overwhelmed by maybe Amy Winehouse, where they hated this situation, she's going to be able to face it, I believe, with the support of her family.
I think the famous painting that Mary did of the ladder with hundreds and hundreds of people, I think that actually holds a key secret about Angelina and her approach. She really does love everyone, and it is embracing everyone and encompassing everyone. I think symbolically, what Mary communicated in that painting is a certain type of universal humanitarian reaching out to everyone and anyone. And I think Angelina Jordan, from a very, very young age, learned that down to her marrow.
I believe that Grandma played such a significant role in her development, and I'm sure Sarah did too. The love in that family is incredible. It goes beyond that too with Angelina. She was so poised. The thing I like to relate to is the video when she was 1.5 and she's singing Whitney Houston. Now, we have to consider something. They already knew something was going on with Angelina. I mean, they didn't suddenly just go into the bedroom and shoot that little video. They knew already what was going on. So they knew already, we got something special here. So they figured, let's film it. I'm watching her in the bed, and she sings the song. Then she gets the microphone. She puts it down alongside of her, and then she puts her hands over her head, and she never smiles. Now, someone else, maybe a little girl or something, singing like that, ha, 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 did you like it? She never smiled. In other words, she had a message there. She said, I could sing this. See that? If you like this, I can sing again. Her thoughts are going like that. It's not like gaga and laughing at anything.
Yeah.
And the other time is I put a spell on you. All the reactors cut the video short. If you let it run to the very end, she's there. She's looking straight ahead. Again, not smiling or anything, because she's pondering everything. And what does she do? She gets her right arm and she puts it on a ledge. And she looks straight ahead. And her thought process is, I wonder if that was good enough. I wonder if I could do that better. You could read her face. So even when she was 1.5 and all the way through, even though, like you said, Alan, Grandma had a tremendous influence on her and everything, a lot of these things were built in. And who's to say that Grandma got some inspiration from Angelina when some of the thoughts that Grandma wanted to, bring out.
Just curious about your experience, Robert. How did you first come across Angelina, and how did that affect what you were doing at the time?
Well, I believe I was on YouTube, and I came across a little girl, but it said, "What a difference a day makes." Now, that was one of my favorite songs from Dinah Washington back in the 50s. I love that song. And I saw somebody, a small girl looked like, but I liked the song, so I don't care what she did to the song. I just wanted to hear the song. And of course, that was unbelievable. Now, what happened after that, I started playing, not too much, because I went over by Smiley Face. She played a video that has over 1 million views. And it's the one where Sandy said, well, somebody wrote in, they wanted me to listen to Angelina Jordan. And so she listened to Stay.
All along it was a fever. A cold, sweat, hot, heated believer.
And that's the song that really got me, because I knew that, oh my God, this was incredible. This was a professional I was listening to, And Sandy got up from a chair and she said, you know what? I have to listen to her voice to see if that's really her voice. She says, I'll be right back. And, in the space of 2 seconds, okay, I'm back. I found something. She's singing without a mic. And what was it? The one where she's sitting in a motel room with the guitar player and they're singing the tribute to her grandpa, where she has the grandfather on the phone there.
I'm going to go ahead and look for another video real quick. I'm going to put you on pause because this is going to be a twofer. I need to hear something else from her. Okay, I'm back and I found another video. This one is with the same guitar player, but she's singing without a microphone. So I want to hear what her voice sounds like just on its own.
And those two videos, I think, I don't know how many people were introduced to Angelina because of that double video by Sandy. People said, you got to look at this video, Then what happened, Pontus, the situation came up where she was going to perform on AGT. They had a station on YouTube. I don't know what it was, but it was people that smuggled out information. And what they did with that smuggled information, they leaked it out to us on YouTube, even though it wasn't supposed to come out. So we already found out that she was going to sing Bohemian Rhapsody. We knew that before the show aired, even though it was kept a secret, we found out. And a big discussion started about, will she win? Somebody leaked out that she didn't win. This was all before it happened. And people said this and that. Well, no, she won. She didn't win. It's crooked. It's not legitimate. Finally, here comes the performance. And she started with the performance. And really, I couldn't make it past the a cappella part. And the first 2 lines after that, I started sobbing. Now, of course, I already had a connection to Angelina already because of all that priest stuff and everything going on. I felt like I knew her already. And when I heard that, I stopped listening. It took me about 5 times to go beyond those 2 lines to listen to the rest of the song because I was so moved. And I knew that she was in me completely. And I had no control over anything. It was, my heart had taken over my body. And that's the reaction when we get the chills, goosebumps, or we tear up or start crying. Or if I ask you a question after a performance and you can't even put together a logical sentence, that's your heart, because your brain is going, now wait a minute, let me figure this out. Your brain has no clue what's going on, but your heart knew in a second, oh, this is a keeper. And your heart falls in love with her immediately, and your heart will never let her go. There are people out there, their hearts have been damaged because of personal tragedy. Angelina will eventually get to those people. And I believe Howes, when we talked about loneliness before, they can be strong individuals, but they have their heart blocked because they don't want to be emotionally hurt. They will be sitting down someday and they'll listen to her on the radio, which we don't have the chance of doing right now, but we will. And that hard person who won't let you touch their heart will hear Angelina, and that person will start breaking down, and she will touch that person. I believe she will touch everyone. And so I think what happens when we get involved with somebody like Angelina, who has a heart as big as the rooms that we're in, when people walk down the sidewalk, total stranger, you can identify with people sometimes without saying a word. You know why? Your hearts recognize each other.
It's called Between Two Hearts. That's what it's called.
It's an amazing thing because Angelina is responsible for that entire story because of the way she affected my heart and strives me to be a better person. And I give her all credit is not the right word. Influence, I don't know what the word is, but she made it happen. And I am who I am today.
Maybe she's an inspiration to you.
Yes.
How would you describe yourself pre-Angelina versus post-Angelina?
Prior to, if I walk by somebody on the sidewalk, I would cough off to the right and walk by, and God forbid I would make eye contact with that person. Would I yell at somebody? Oh, absolutely. I'm Italian. I don't look Italian, but I'm Italian. And Italians, we have a way of screaming at each other. And if somebody comes into the conversation from Arizona or something, and to go, what are you people doing? You're crazy. What are you screaming at each other? And we would look at her and go, what are you talking about? It's just a normal conversation to us. So that's the way I am. I'm brought up that way in an Italian family where 12 people are down in the basement all eating spaghetti and everybody's screaming at everybody. And to me, that was just normal. Well, that was the way I was. And I've changed. I've become, quote unquote, nicer, nicer to be along with. And I control myself. And the other part is just being more understanding and understanding that all people are different. And not everybody's going to like you. We have to go through life and understand that. And so once in a while, if you want to take the time out to sit down with a guy that looks not evil, but irritating, try your luck. Go over and talk to them. It's amazing. You'll find out something. So I credit all of these things to Angelina because I feel them in me. She's in me all the time. Can I ask both of you guys that question? I know where you're coming from, but personally, I'm reversing the tables here a little bit. Do you feel as strongly as I do about her?
Yeah, sure. She changed my life around completely when I listened to Bohemian Rhapsody. I hadn't the privilege to listen to her before she did the AGT performance. And that was my first experience with her. But that kind of connection made everything come to place. And I was in a place where I was not creative at all, although that is my job to be creative. And it really took off from there. I mean, started this YouTube channel. So I can really see myself in your descriptions of how you describe her influence or inspiration. It's spot on for me.
She's with you every day.
Yeah, sure. And I also think like that if I come upon somebody that I get irritated with and I just go, how would Angelina tackle this situation? She's like an inspiration to how I should live my life, which is crazy in a way. I've never had that with anybody. And I'm not a religious man at all, so I don't have that background either. Because I think that's maybe something to do with religion, that you have this kind of something to guide your life.
It's funny, we do the same thing she does where we go in and out of music. With us, we could have a perfectly normal life, family, business, things like that, and we could operate perfectly in that line of work. It isn't that she's with us where my whole life is Angelina. Oh no, I could do everything. But then when Angelina comes in, I turn the channel, and it's now Angelina's time. So it's funny, we do the same thing. Alan, is that right? Where you can have your life, and yet when you want to listen to Angelina, think about her, it's like turning a channel.
Yeah. What we are talking about is that all of us and many angels have a very deep realization that it doesn't cost us anything to be kind all the time in all circumstances. It is a common currency, and it is at no great expense, and it is the simplest thing in the world for us to do. One of the perks that I have found over the last 2 years since I have been a serious angel is more of me has come to the surface. I am in touch with more of me than I have before, and I've had a rearranged personality, and I'm as surprised as anyone. Even conducting an interview is so much easier for me now than it was 2 years ago. I feel I have so many more tools on the surface. In that way, she very simply has changed my life in a totally unexpected way.
Yeah, most exciting to me is the thing you were pointing to, Robert, that once she becomes a household name and we can all hear her on the radio day in and day out, how many more lives will she affect in this way? I think she could really make this world a better place.
She herself has said that she wants to sing for the world.
She has no boundaries. Gender, age, color, occupation, religion, language, musical preference. All of those things make no difference. When someone listens to Angelina, everything that I just mentioned, whoever fits those kind of categories, when Angelina is done singing, we all know what they're going to say. Oh my God, what was that? Because again, their brain is fogged out completely and they know things are going on within them. And so there's no boundaries. So it doesn't matter where you come from. When she's on the airwaves and on the radio and with albums, everyone in the world will know who Angelina Jordan is. Well, here's the remarkable part. She will understand the role that she's playing. She understands it now. Yeah. I think she understood it, like I said, at 1.5, for goodness sakes. So she understands the role she's playing, and she will never get caught up in all the hysteria. She likes going to these gatherings with all the celebrities. Who wouldn't? You know, I mean, was something wrong with her? She's only 17. Of course she wants to. But she will never lose touch with why she's here and what her purpose is. She really believes what her purpose is to sing for all of us and to bring happiness to us, hope to us, and feel the love in her heart so that we could all begin to love one another, because that's the prerequisite to make this world a better place to live. So no matter how famous she gets and the stardom that's attached to her, she'll always be Angelina. She won't change. By the way, if you look over my shoulder, can you see that shiny thing there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What that is, it's made out of glass, solid glass, and there are 3 photographs inside there. One is Angelina when she was about 8. The middle one is her singing Bohemian Rhapsody, and the one on the other side is taken from the Norway concerts. And so what the people did, they put the photographs of each one of those strings inside the glass, and then it's set up with lights coming from below, and it gives a 3-dimensional effect. So when you look at that, it's a 3D image of those 3 performances.
Robert, why don't you bring that closer to the screen so we can see it?
Yeah, it's definitely worth taking a look at close. Hold on.
You don't have anything like that, Alan, do you?
All I have, Pontus, are my memories.
Let's see if I can elevate it here. And you'll see I put a little custom-made message on it.
Wow.
See, now that's 3-dimensional. And I put on there my message, Angelina Jordan script, and then Messenger of Love. And then I have a rose on each side. You can't tell the 3-dimension, but when you look at it in person, it's 3D. When you look at it, you can't believe it. You're looking at the glass thing, and the 3 figures are separate from each other.
It's like a hologram.
Is that the expression? See, there's the figures inside there, if you can see them. See the photographs?
Yeah.
Inside. And then they're placed, they're separate, and it comes out as 3D here.
Wow. It's the type of thing where you have a $100 bill and you hold it up to the light and you see images of Angelina Jordan inside the $100 bill. Robert, I want to thank you very much. You've been a great guest, and I don't know if there's anything I could possibly edit out from this entire interview, because everything you said was great and relevant and to the point.
Yeah, I think I could listen to you all night.
Look, I'm going to definitely wind up meeting you guys down the road at a concert somewhere. I am 8 miles from Manhattan and 8 miles from Carnegie Hall. And I've said this many times, acts, they go to someplace in Minnesota or Idaho or whatever, and then they get their act together and they perfect it, and then they go for the jugular, they go for big time. With Angelina, there's no starting point. Her first concert, when she, goes big and it goes to these great venues, it's not going to be a starting place. It's going to be it. So I say, go right for Carnegie Hall. And then go from there. And then when everybody finds out, oh my God, Angelina sold out Carnegie Hall. In fact, she was there on a Tuesday night. And you know what? They already had bookings for an open Wednesday night. And then, so now when she goes to Idaho or Minnesota, are you kidding me? No, she's going to start off with a colossal bang. It's not going to be like a slow thing where she graduates into stardom. Oh no, she's going to burst into stardom.
I want to see her at Yankee Stadium with 60,000 other fans. Okay. Thank you, Robert.
Hey, it was a pleasure. This was a great opportunity. Pontus, I had spoken to you, you remember a while ago, a few months ago, we did speak. I told Alan that. And Alan, I always commented on the podcast quite a bit. And Alan was always nice enough to give me a line. Of course, my comments are always this long.
Yeah, I know.
And Pontus says, gee, it might be a good idea to have you guys on the podcast. And so this was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah. We love having you here. Yeah.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Great.
And of course, we always take requests for songs to end the podcast with. Do you have any particular song you would like to?
The most difficult part of me preparing for this podcast was to go through 170 songs and figure which one is going to get the brass ring. Yeah. I figured, to be fair, make it short, but make it beautiful. The one I like is Angelina's TikTok version of Crazy.
Okay.
It's short, but I think that gets right to the point.
Yep.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay,
thank you, Robert.
Okay.
Guys, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Crazy, I'm crazy for feeling so lonely. I'm crazy, crazy for feeling so blue. I knew you'd love me as long as you wanted, and then someday you'd leave me for somebody new. Worried, why do I let myself worry? Wondering what in the world did I do? Oh, crazy for thinking that my love could hold you. I'm crazy for trying, I'm crazy for crying, and I'm crazy for loving